92.7 3FM. Your urban lifestyle radio.
Don't let anyone speak for you, and don't rely on others to fight for you. That's a quote from the former First Lady of the United States of America, Michelle Obama. Welcome to your most authoritative female program here on 3FM 92.7, Women's Take. My name is Eton Amse, and I'm sitting in for Natalie Fort, your regular host. On this platform, we give women who are either in governance or intend to take up the roles the opportunity to speak. Usually, we give women the platform to tell us about themselves and why they intend to take up the mantle, especially in a male-dominated industry like politics. We ask them about the challenges they face and also how they intend to compete with their male counterparts. Usually, the threats it poses to them. And today we are fortunate to be having a strong woman join us in the studio. Cynthia Mamle Morrison, born 17th January 1964, is a Ghanaian politician and a member of the New Patriotic Party. She's currently the Member of Parliament for Agona West constituency. And on 9th August 2018, she was appointed Minister Designate for Gender, Children and Social Protection by President Akufo-Addo. And I'm super excited to be hosting her this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, my dear. How are you?
I'm awesome. You want to come closer to your microphone so we can hear you.
All right. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very awesome. You know, before we came on air, I was telling you that the first time I actually saw you all over the place, I mean, positively, was during the lockdown when you were advocating for persons living with disability, the KIAs, and the poor and vulnerable in society. So kudos on that.
Thank you.
So tell us about Cynthia Mamle Morrison before politics.
Thank you very much, and thank you to our listeners this morning. You know, Michelle and I celebrate our birthday together, 17 January 64.
Uh-huh.
The same age, the same day.
Oh my God.
But I think maybe I was born in the morning and she in the afternoon, so I may be older than her. Yes. Cynthia is a proprietress of Maryland Montessori. I started with Blossom Play School at a very tender age because I love children. And I still do love children, you know. I have 7 of them. And I wish I
You have 7 children?
Yes.
Biological children?
Yes.
7?
7.
Only you?
I wish I had more.
Oh my God.
Only age is telling on me, but if I have the opportunity of getting more,
okay,
every child that comes to me is I will term as my biological child. So I need 3 more to make it 10. Because my 6 are old now. It's left with only 1 who is young. So if I get 3 more, my house will still be very active.
Okay.
So we'll advocate for that after the show. I love children. I love people with disability. And I love the elderly. I don't know how it came, but naturally I clicked to these people. My mother fell from a height at a very tender age, like when she was like 2-3 years. She dislocated her hip and she limped, till she died. And I have a soft spot for that woman who took very good care of me and who has made me who I am. May her soul rest in peace, And for the elderly people, I've realized that in Ghana, it's like if they are not from an elite home, they are marginalized. Especially when their children leave them to go and struggle for greener pastures and they are not back. It's like they are left alone. And I have a soft spot for them and I love them. It's something, and people with disability, I know they are also vulnerable, taking care of themselves and all that. But naturally, that is me. I love human beings, but I love people. Rollins was not my fun. Seriously, when I was growing up, he was not my fun. But I grew to love him when people started not liking him. That is my style. So the moment people started, I'm like, this man has done so much for people. And the same people that he stood for are now against him. And that drew me closer to him. And he became my friend before he died. Naturally, I don't like people, how do I call it? I don't like somebody being attacked.
Okay. You don't like people being vilified? Necessarily.
Vilified, fine, but unnecessarily.
Unnecessary.
Because when you do something wrong, you must be told. But unnecessarily, I don't like. Even when I'm walking and you hit your child, the tendency is for me to hit you back and say, "Why did you do that?" or confront you because I don't think it is right. And so that is my nature, and that brought me into politics because we have a lot of people who are underprivileged. We have a lot of people who have been left behind. And you can't do it all, but at least you can fill in the gap for that brought me close to politics.
Absolutely. If you just tuned in, you're live on 3FM 92.7, and this is Women's Take, your most authoritative female program where we get to celebrate our women who are either going into governance or intend to take up that mantle. And this morning, we are privileged to be having our Mesa, the Minister for Gender and Social Protection, Cynthia Mamle Morrison. This show is supported by, just so you know, it's supported by Star Ghana Foundation with funding from the UK's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office and the European Union. I want to say thank you to them for sponsoring the show. And we are live on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on Facebook, 3FM 92.7, on Twitter, 3FM_927. Thank you for making us your number one. And Cynthia Mamle Morrison was just telling us about herself. She has 7 children. Unbelievable. You should see her in person. She doesn't even look like she has 7 children. And she says she loves children very much. Just let us know if you have questions for her. I'm sure you do. Let us know so that we can ask on your behalf. Let's talk about politics. How did you become a politician? Because you are not really a through and through politician.
I am. I don't know why people say that. They think politics only being about loudmouth and, insult and all those things. That is not it. We started with, in 92, we were working for Theresa Mele Tego. I was in Dansoman. When we were doing the registration, the national service would come home, would follow them. So right from 92 registration, election, we were there. I was, Amele's girl. When she's having a program, I did catering. So I cater for the staff. We do, house-to-house campaign in Dansoman. Tina Mensah, Honorable Tina Mensah, is my classmate. She came in up front early, but we were with her. My mother was so scared of politics. She wouldn't want you to, show your face that much. So we started in Dansoman. I moved to South Fedoko, where Honorable Kabina Battles was. Okay. And so we were working for him and all that. And then I came to Agona West, became the Central Regional Women's Organizer. Before, I went for a primaries first. I lost. I became the woman organizer, and I went for the second primaries, and I won. But I do most of my things on a low key, submarine sort of politics is what I do, and I am in for the positive. And normally you hear the negatives more than the positives in politics.
Okay.
And so, but we are trying to now bring out the positives, because there are lots of good people in politics. Politics is not dirty. There are people who are trying to make it dirty. And so for us who don't want to make it dirty, we should come out to encourage young people like you who would want to venture into it. Because there are lots of people, when you talk to them, they tell you they are scared because they think politics is not decent. They think politics is dirty. Politics is not decent. You have decent people like us going into politics. And so I want a lot of young people to, especially the young ladies, to come up front. Francisca is very young. She's in parliament. And so we still can get Dukwa is young. She's in parliament. We have Mavis, who is young, she's in parliament. We can get the young ones and then older ones like us also joining in, because we are, getting to our 60s, we are going to leave. We need you people to fill in the gap. So I want you to know that politics is not dirty and loudmouth with insult. I can't do insults because that is not my style. We were not brought up like that. So there's no way I would insult because of politics. I'll tell you as it is. I'm a very tough person. I am not, that soft. But my toughness is into getting what I want, not into insulting people and to just making it, dirty.
But this is a male-dominated industry, if you like.
Who says so?
Where you find, the latest report from Ghana Statistical Service says that women form the majority in terms of population. We are 52%. But when it comes to the number of people who registered for the voters' register, we are about 48%. But if you look at participation in parliament and in the proper politics, you find the men doing it more because of the name calling, if you like. So if you're saying that it is not dirty, for instance, we know people who have families, and once you get into politics, your family is brought in and the whole thing is mad. So if you're saying it's not dirty, how do you convince me that it's not dirty?
That is why I want people like us to come up front and make sure that we are filling in the gap. If you leave it for the dirty people, then it's going to be dirtier than we think. And so we need people who are decent. And I believe in parliament, we have a lot of decent people. Not only women, we have men also who are very decent. The name calling is something that we have to make sure that we eradicate. It's not only the politicians in parliament that make it dirty, it's the following. The people who follow the insult. Sometimes I tune in the radio and I'm like, this guy or this lady speaking, does she have a relative at home? Because me, when I speak and it's not right, immediately after the program, I'll get my sisters call me to say, Mamle, why did you say this? And when I do well also, they'll call me to applaud me. And I have my decent husband, his friends, I have decent children who would also tell me, because they listen to me. And they're like, they will tell me, Mommy, why did you do? Even my little daughter, when I'm talking to her and I scream, or I scream at she'll tell me, Mommy, you screamed.
You screamed.
And the way she do her face, you scream, meaning I shouldn't scream. So I have people like that who I look up to and who are also looking up to me. I run a school and I have students who are now doctors and engineers and teachers and pastors that I nurtured,
right,
who are now matured and they listen to and they are so proud of me. And when I'm talking on air, they are the first people that come to mind. I am their role model.
Did you start a family before you entered politics? Were you married before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, I just got into the frontline politics like you're seeing me. I had all my children before the frontline politics.
Because the concern is that once you're single, you're not married, and you venture into politics, you're seen as a tyrant, not submissive, especially in our setting.
They think like that. In my constituency, somebody can tell me, you don't listen to us. You don't listen. And I'm like, I will listen to you, but I'm not going to do what you want me to do. I'm going to do what I think is right for the people. And so even at my age, people think, and not only elderly people, young boys and girls who follow you think that you have to listen to them and do what they want. You have to listen in politics because they also go out and they hear things, so they can come and tell you that, Honorable, I went here and I heard this story. I heard that this should be done right here or there. So you listen to them, but they don't dictate the pace to you. And so when you're single and you go into it, I know, they are like uncontrollable. That is why you are not married. And the name calling, the stigmatization, it is even at my age. The married woman. Somebody wrote on the platform that she's a prostitute. That is why she's in politics. And they call me the Jezebel.
How did you feel about that?
Because I know it's not true. I thought that person was insane. Because for you to think that I am a prostitute, then
Just
it means you are
because I'm in
crazy.
politics.
Just because I'm in politics. And you call me Jezebel because I'm in politics. Then it's your wife who is a Jezebel. And because you want to address it to your wife and you can't, you channel it to me. If you don't think positive, you let all these things derail you. But don't let anybody, like Michelle said, you have to speak for yourself. Don't let anybody bring you down. As for the bringing down, they will. Nana Konedu, what haven't they called her and all that? But because she's strong and firm, she's still, going. But if you listen to all the negatives, if you are not careful, you will not continue your journey.
I will come and talk about your journey as a politician, what you've done in government. But let me ask you, have you at any point in time felt that someone said or did something to you that if you were a male, that wouldn't have been said to you?
A lot of times.
Tell me about some of them.
Like look, how many times have you heard them say a man is a prostitute?
Okay.
They don't. Or a man is a devil. They can't because they're afraid a man will come after them. Men fight. That is what they know. They think she's a woman. We can say anything to her, and she can't do anything to us, and all that. The negatives. It looks like a male. It's just a maledom. It shouldn't be, but that is what it is now. One is finances. Because it is expensive doing politics. I must be very frank with you. And if you have people who support you, then you are good to go.
Okay.
But if you don't have, and you get to a point that you hit on the wall and you can't go anywhere. So one, finances. Two, you must be loved by the people. You have to be accepted by the people. I am a politician standing in a constituency that I don't hail from. It is my husband that hails from there. And the negatives they tell you is that she's an alien. An alien in Ghana, in a constituency that I have established a school close to 20 years, and a constituency that I have adopted so many children, apart from my children. You go to my school now, all the people living there are people that I have brought up from the same constituency, from different fields, and brought them there, taking care of them. Some of them, I brought them there's one boy that I took, Kofi was like 2 weeks old. The mother was mentally ill and couldn't take care of him, and so they had to bring him to me. There are people that I took at the age of 2 years, and they now completed secondary school, and some of them are going to the police and all that. And then after doing all these things, they can still call you an alien, And so the negatives would come irrespective of who you are. Even for the men, I'm sure they say things to them. They say things to them, but it shouldn't be as dirty as a woman. And sometimes when you get a position, that they think that, hey, because you slept with somebody, that is why they give you the position. And I can sometimes, I'm like, do you think your wife can do that? If you think your wife can do that, it doesn't mean every woman can do that. Why do I sleep with somebody for a position? Or for what? And so all these negatives are there. The name calling will be there, but you have to be focused. You have to be attentive to what you're doing. You have to be level-headed and know that, look, I'll listen to everybody around me, but let my head speak for me. Is what I'm going to do good to go? And they'll tell me, what they tell me is that I shouldn't turn the politics into a church.
Don't come and preach us.
And I tell them that, look, my salvation is more important to me than politics. Because one day I'm going to die and give account to God. When I get to heaven, they won't call me honorable. And so I will not let politics take away my Christianity. That is something that is my number one key. And so my Christianity matters to me more than the politics I'm doing. And so I will not let Christianity be on one page and politics on another. I'll bring the two together and make sure that is what I am doing. And it's working for me. It is seriously working for me.
Right.
So if you want to come into it, let God lead you. Let God be your guide in what you're doing, and you will succeed.
You're live on 3FM 92.7. This is your most authoritative female program, Women's Take, where we give the platform to women in governance or those who want to be in governance to speak about their journey so far and encourage you out there who is hoping to do that. And here in the studio with me is the Minister for Gender and Children Social Protection, Cynthia Mamle Morrison is my guest this morning. And the show is supported by Star Ghana Foundation with funding from the FCDO and the European Union. I want to say thank you to them for sponsoring this program. We are live on 3FM 92.7, also live on Facebook. We are streaming streaming live at 92.7. Also on Twitter, 3FM_927. And we're still speaking to Cynthia Mamle Morrison. Don't forget that she's also a member of Parliament. She's also a member of Parliament, and she's still going to be contesting the seats come December 7. Let's talk about your journey as a politician. Let me start with the primaries. It was quite chaotic for you. It was a lot of work.
We had 3. I contested with 2 men, making it 3. I got like 76% of the votes.
Okay. But it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy because of the name calling. She doesn't come from here, and the rumor is that when she wins, she's going to sack us, and this, all the negatives, everything.
Sack who?
The delegates, a lot of negatives, a lot of things, But by God's grace, they know me. They've been with me. So despite, in politics, it's only the few loud mouth that you hear, and we have them, and they are so loud. There's a platform that they can go on from morning till evening. And when I meet them, I ask them, who buys the data for you? You buy it yourself, and you don't work to get money out of it, and you buy it only to talk about Cynthia Morrison. And it's from morning till evening. And I don't even read. That is the sad aspect. I don't read. So when somebody sees something and they send it to me, I've told them, I don't want to read. But for the primaries, by God's grace, it went very well. A lot of people were scared. And I'm like, why are you scared?
A female against 2 men.
Yes. Everybody thought it was... And against my former predecessor. He came back with another gentleman, and they all hailed from there, and they were doing she's an alien type of politics, and it takes an alien to build a city, isn't it?
Do you think that people vote based on issues, or is still the name calling and then and all that, and the fact that she's female?
It's issues, but unfortunately, the men don't realize that.
Okay.
They think the name calling would help them, so I leave them to do the name calling, and I go for my votes.
Well, and that's important.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your role as a minister for gender. Why do I keep messing up the name? Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection.
If you leave my children out, I'll be so upset with you.
I'm sorry. So you seem passionate about persons living with disability, but you know that the access to the common fund is still under 3%.
It was 2, and we've added 1 to make it 3%.
But it's woefully inadequate.
It is their common fund. It's only for them, not for the whole community.
Yeah, but they've been asking for more.
For more, everybody asks for more. I must be very frank with you.
But is 3% enough from where you sit?
Now we are not giving them cash. What we are doing now is that we resource them. Somebody wants to sell, maybe somebody in a wheelchair wants a deep freezer to sell maybe drinks and water. We buy the deep freezer for that person. Somebody is disabled, she wants to bake, she wants an oven, they buy the oven. Somebody wants a machine to work. That is what they are doing for them now. And nobody, even my ministry, my budget is not adequate. School feeding, I've not covered the whole country. I wish I'd covered the whole country. LEAP, I haven't covered the whole country. And the ministry is the ministry for the less privileged. And so our budget is so scanty. But I know that even if they give me, they add education, they add health, they add water and sanitation's money to my budget, it will still not be enough for us. And so whatever we have, we manage it for now. I won't sit here and I know, I wish that they'll give me 10% for them. But there are other people who are not disabled who also need money for other things. There are other people like my Kai, they are not disabled, but we need to take care of them. Like the street children, we need to take care of them. They need money. And so we can't put everything into only one basket. And so even as a minister that I sit here and I wish they'll give us more, I think that we've moved one step forward. Let's see how it goes. It's not everybody who has received it. The last quarter is coming, others will receive it. But for the 3%, for an individual to get a freezer, to get a sewing machine, to get an oven, to get tools to do carpentry, to get tools to do shoemaking, I think if everybody gets, then I'm okay. But for the amount, I think that is not bad.
Let's talk about the school feeding program, the journey so far. I know that before you became minister, you were also part of the service providers. I don't know if you can correct me.
No.
If I'm wrong, you were not.
No.
You were not. Okay. You had nothing to do with school feeding. Okay.
No.
So tell us about the journey so far. Apart from the quality, we also hear that once there's a change in government, the service providers are changed.
It is true and not true. We still have, it is true to some extent.
That the service providers have changed.
It was President Kufuor that started. So the caterers were naturally, if you start something in your administration, it's the people who you know around that you bring on board. And it started on a low, a small scale. And so they were on board. When the next administration came, they moved all the caterers. So it became the trend. It is not like... so it's been, and then when we also came, they had to change the caterers.
Why do we change? I mean, these are Ghanaians, and these are jobs for women and the ordinary Ghanaians. So why would you change the service provider just because there's a change in government? Is it that we are promoting family and friends? It's
not a matter of fun. You should have asked this question when they changed the first caterers. When I came, I
am asking you the question now.
Yes,
because
I know.
If it was wrong, why repeat it when you come into power?
Seriously, I don't know how to say it.
There must be a reason, because wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter who perpetrates it.
Okay, we are going to the contracts have ended now. Okay. We are going to do the right thing. The next contract we are not going to change. We'll make sure that we maintain.
Is it because we are in an election year? That's what you're saying. No. We are going to maintain the people.
Oh no! What are they going to do for me now?
Because if you change them when you came into power, because it means these are your people. These are people you came with.
You know what? The contract goes out. They advertise it.
Okay.
They advertise the contract. And then they go to the district assemblies. That is where they sell the forms and they buy the forms.
Okay.
And the same trend is going to happen.
So let me just push you a bit. Mm-hmm. If there was no problem with the earlier service providers, why do we review them? If they are giving me quality, why do I need to change them?
No, it's a contract. They give them, it's a contract.
I agree on that.
Every administration, if once it's a contract, when the contract elapses, you have to renew. When we are renewing, definitely we have people that we have problems with. Even though you say they are all our party people, there are people maybe they don't cook well. We have them. Okay. There are people who, today I don't have money, so I didn't cook. And the contract says it's pre-financed. And so there are people that are rich, even us as a minister, people that we have terminated the appointment, even as a party. Because it's even though you're a party member, if you don't cook well for the child, do I have to maintain you because you're a party person?
All right, so the contract you have had to review is because they were giving us poor service.
No, it's that is the law.
Okay.
Just like
that you should review their contracts whether or not they are providing good service.
So if they are providing good service, you renew their contracts and they go on and cook.
Okay.
That is how it is. Okay. It is not something that we came. That is the mandates that they gave them.
Okay.
That we renew their contract. So once we are renewing the contract, we renew for those who did very well. There are people in my constituency, for instance, when I'm having a program, the caterers I pick to cook for me are the school feeding caterers because they do very well. And there are others that I will not let them even cook because they will not cook well. And for those people, why do I renew their contract if I know they are not giving good services to the school? And the headmasters also who give recommendation. The headmasters who are not party people, they would give us recommendation at the district assemblies that this woman's food is not up to standard. We are always fighting her. She's always late.
And these have to be party faithfuls.
Whether they are party faithfuls or not, and she's not cooking well, we have to be changed.
Okay, let's talk about during the lockdown, you spoke a lot about protecting the KIAs. I think I remember you saying that you were moving them, 200 of them, into a hostel. What's the latest?
We took them and they came back.
They came back.
I told you, they said they were not comfortable. They couldn't be housed. They wanted to be closer to where they do their business. Even though it was a lockdown, we told them you cannot even go out and hawk. The national security had to come in. We took them with the military buses. They gave us 5 new buses to pick them from their various places, the Agbogloshi, the Tema Station, to the hostel at Medina. And then, there was so much noise.
The hostel was at Medina?
Yes.
Was it a permanent place or was rented?
It was rented. We didn't even rent. Somebody gave it out to us.
Okay, and you are willing to house them there
because for the COVID.
And they said they didn't want
to.
No,
there was so much noise. The MC at Medina had to call and then had to arrange for Ayalolo because the buses had left to take them back to their destination.
Okay, and what was the alternate? Okay, so why did they say they didn't want that space? Do we know?
They are used to being on. Some of the reasons, some of them told me that they didn't know. They thought we were going to give them money and send them back. That they had their boyfriends here, and they are sometimes that we left their babies with caretakers because they only thought that we're taking them somewhere to give them money and logistics and then let them come back.
Okay.
And we don't have a law to keep somebody against their will. So once they said they were not comfortable with it, we can't do otherwise.
The alternative was to build a shelter, right, for them?
With the Agbogloshi shelter, we got the land. If it was a vice president who was leading, we got the land. But unfortunately, we had a litigation. The land belonged to someone, and we got a place at Dodowa. And Dodowa, they wouldn't. I know they wouldn't. They told me, and I agree with them, that they can't go to Dodo and come back in the morning. How do they come back? And so they need to be around the Agbogloshi, where we have a daycare for their children, at Medina, where there's a daycare for their children. So we've spoken to the MC at Medina, if we can get a place where we can put a shelter there for them. And in Kumasi also, we got a place, and the chief has also given us a land. And so based on that, we will look at building something that is comfortable closer to the market. Because if you send them a little, like even 30 minutes walk from where they do their business,
they will not be comfortable.
They will not, because
but it does appear that it's a touch and go for when it comes to taking care of these kayayes. There's no shelter. I remember I'm seeing your 2016 manifesto. I mean the MPP's 2016 manifesto, and you stated categorically they were going to build hostels for kayaye. What's the latest? I haven't seen a single hostel.
That's what I'm telling you, that we got the hostel in Kumasi. And it is also still far from. Do I know I don't know Kumasi properly.
Okay.
After the airport, I know the place, but I don't know Kumasi there.
And it was built for them, or it was just acquired?
It was acquired. We were renting the place for them.
Okay, but
because we said we're going to build.
Yes, you said you're going to build.
The chief has given us a land to build.
Okay, so at least we had the land to build.
You have the
and
land
what happened
to build.
To that promise?
No, the chief just gave us the land.
Okay.
It was not we didn't even buy it. Okay. It was the chief who has given us a free 4-acre land so we can build a shelter for them. But for where we rented, we didn't move in because he couldn't take all of them. And we can't take some and leave some. But once there's a hostel where they have their daycare, and the car here is not some. I was talking to you behind the scenes. Right. I don't mind saying it.
It's okay.
It's a touch and go, like you said, because some of them just come and look for some few cities and go back and then establish themselves, and we don't want to. It's a migration sort of thing. We cannot stop them from coming, but when they come, we need to make them comfortable. But in Accra, like I told you behind the scenes, most of them don't sleep on the street like you see them. We see them during the day, but at night they live behind the CMB. There's a shelter at the CMB, a rented, apartments at the CMB that they stay.
Right.
So they are not. We see them on the streets under the trees, but that is not where they sleep at night.
Okay. You're live on 3FM 92.7. This is your most authoritative female show, Women's Take, and you're live on Facebook as well. We're streaming live 92.7 on Twitter as well, 3FM_927. And I'm I'm sitting in for your regular host, Natalie Forts, and my guest this morning is the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Cynthia Mamle Morrison. She's also the MP for the Agona West constituency, and she's contesting the seat again. She wants you to retain her in December 7, 2020, when we head to the polls. And this platform, we give it to women to tell us their journey so far, those who are willing or who are on their journey to becoming or going into governance. I want you to know that the show is supported by Star Ghana Foundation with funding from the UK's Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office and the European Union. Madam Cynthia Mamle Morrison. So I want us to talk about protection for women, the poor and vulnerable. The Ikuya dentist situation, the woman who was lynched and killed, how you managed the situation? Do you think that it was the best under the circumstance?
Oh, yes. We'll say that was the best. We, as human beings, when we are doing something to your fellow human being, you have to think about yourself. Ikuya dentist situation sent us back up north to have a look at the situation on the ground. But unfortunately, It's something that scared me is that Ikuya Dente was not killed in the alleged witches camp. She was killed in her house. And so the mindset, and thankfully the MC up there has now had a task force going around to educate people, and because that sent us to Gambaga, all the three, the witches camp, and so for Thursday, that is tomorrow's next. Tomorrow we are going to the north, to together with the World Bank, and then the Ministry of Finance, and then the Ministry of Gender. We are trying to settle our mothers who are up there. Some of them are going to be relocated to their various families, and we've worked with the families, and some of them are ready to accept them. But before they accept them, we are putting them on a special leave package that will take care of them. We are giving some of them mattresses. Others said they don't want the mattress, they want the mats. Some of them want machines, and the oil butter extracting machine to work with. Others want the cornmeal, and then we are giving them their things to make them comfortable. And the presentation will be done on Thursday by myself and my director, or my chief director, and then director of social protection, and the LEAP, and National Household Registry. We had to register them. To put them on LEAP, we needed a special assignment, put them on the data and get everything right. So Thursday was the presentation. We're doing for all we have like 8,000 of them, and their children also. We are taking care of them and make sure that every month they have something coming to them to take care of them, especially for those whose family are not ready to accept them.
That's fantastic, but will this uproot the if you like, the injustice served to these women? Recently we saw a video of a woman chopping off another woman's hair just because they said she was a witch, or she had issues. Have you seen that video yourself?
I've seen it.
What do you make of it?
That is what I'm saying. It's not only happening up there. It happens even in the south. It happens at Laboni, Labadi, Osu, anywhere. It is the mindset of the people. Pastors do the same thing. Pastors chain people because they think that they are witches. And if you're a pastor and somebody is a witch, then God has given you the eyes to see. Right. And He might as well give you the power to, if I may say, get rid of the alleged witch. I'm not saying there's no witch or there's a witch, but the chiefs themselves believe that they are witches, and so the education is going on as I speak to you. For some time now, we haven't heard any negative, and I pray that it will continue, because it is their sort of their tradition or their culture to believe that if somebody sleeps and dreams of you as a witch, then it means you are, and then they come after you. But the education is going on now, and I believe that is the Oh yes, it is. It is.
How are we educating these women?
In the communities we have people, they group them and talk to them and all that. That I know,
that I don't know about, because there are concerns that we need to deepen education, because it looks like it's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing, so we're dealing with the chiefs, because for somebody to be allowed to do that, is a chief who gives the consent, and so we are dealing with them.
So do you think that we should have punished the chief of in that area where Ikuya Dente was murdered?
The chief said he was not even there when the whole thing happened.
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there. We went there. We saw the chief. We brought them even all the way to Accra. We brought a lot of chiefs to Accra.
The chief priestess as well.
Pardon?
The chief priestess, the lady.
She ran away. She's been arrested. She's behind bars now.
Okay.
Yeah. She ran away. We didn't get her. But the chiefs who were there, we summoned all the chiefs. We spoke to them.
And they said they were not there?
That particular town, they have they don't even have a witch camp in that particular town. That was the first time that thing happened. They don't even have a witch camp there. They brought the fetish priestess from another community to their community to do that. And that is why I say I am scared, because it didn't happen in a place that is known to be practicing. So if it can happen at Savannah region where they don't even believe in that is why the education is going on, so that we don't get it elsewhere. But just in as much as we can, yesterday I saw in the papers somebody beat the stepchild to death or something.
Okay.
Was it yesterday? People are doing things at home
that they're not supposed to be doing. But so there's concern that there's not even a place where if I have such problems, I can easily run to a shelter.
There is.
There is where?
Just in our shelter, we don't disclose.
Okay.
Just like last week, I was in the constituency when I heard that a young lady was raped and she cut off the manhood of the guy. You know the story.
Yeah.
Immediately, I brought her to her. So she's with me now.
Good.
But we don't disclose where she is.
Her.
Just to protect her. But we've
but if someone doesn't have the opportunity to access...
There's social warfare everywhere.
Where? Are there numbers we could call? Because, I mean, if I'm in distress, I may be in an abusive relationship. I have nowhere to go. Maybe that's my only source of
So give this number,
support.
0800 800 800. So
It
this
doesn't
number,
work? 0800 800.
If you ask me, does it work? It means I'm
want
giving you a
to
number
be
that
sure.
does not exist or what?
Because
What are you
we
telling
know,
me?
Because we know during the lockdown, for instance, there were numbers
That
that were
no.
calling.
That number was a hot cake. Look, even for those.
So you agree when I
Yeah,
asked
but for
that,
now it's not. But if it rings, and it's busy, it means
Right.
it's there. But if you say does it work,
Yeah,
does it
yeah,
work means it doesn't go through.
Yeah, but if I call and it doesn't go through, or
It goes
nobody
through,
is
but
picking
it's
up,
busy, no.
So that's how come I'm asking
For those
whether
who
it
call, they
works.
can confirm. For those who call, we even send them special package.
I see.
For everybody that called, we have the data. For everybody that called our hotline, I even went to the extent of giving my PA's numbers out because that number was busy.
Right.
I gave my PA's numbers out, which was wrong for me to do, but I had to do because the people were just calling. That was an exceptional case. But every community, every district has a social.
Okay.
But for this one, when I heard, so we have shelters.
Okay.
We have shelters.
So
yeah.
we'll talk briefly about your constituency, the plans you have for the women in your constituency. But I have a few questions coming in. But let me ask my first before we go to the questions coming in on social media. My question will be for you, the affirmative action bill. Every government that comes into power finds a way to review it one way or the other. Will we ever pass this action into law, this bill into law?
We will pass it. I told you behind the scenes. Me, when I speak to you behind the scenes, I tell the general public to know that I am telling the truth. By the time I came, my predecessor had already done some work on it. But my sisters with disability, I know they are listening. They also brought their request, and I agreed with them that they needed to be added to it. And so we had to do that review. Fortunately, we have gone through. It's gone through cabinet approval, cabinet committee. It goes back to Attorney General, and then it comes to the plenary, and then it goes to Parliament. Fortunately, I mean, I don't want to send a bill to Parliament and then send back. So I would rather goes back and forth in cabinet than go to the plenary at Parliament and then is thrown out. And so we had to make sure that we are getting both sides who would really work and who would really accept it, so that when it comes to the floor, it will not just be something that will be thrown. So I want to tell Ghanaians that I'm sorry it was not passed, but I tell you, President is always on me. Anytime. Why is the affirmative action bill?
No, but him asking you doesn't mean that it will be passed into law. I mean,
No, it won't be passed into law.
we want to see like practical steps into ensuring that this bill is passed into law.
And that's what I'm saying, that you have to do all your work. You can't just send it to Parliament in a state that, because when you get it will go to Parliament committee. Even if your committee approves of it, and we are not very sure of the details, and it gets to the plenary, and they shoot it down, what do? It has gone to plenary before.
Yes.
And it's come back.
But you've been in power. You've been in the position of the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection for 2 years, right?
Yes.
What do you think is the major challenge why the affirmative action bill is yet to be passed into law?
I've told you, we've added on the people with disability. Everything has been corrected.
That's the only challenge.
There's a challenge. It's been sent
to Attorney General now. It's ready now.
It's ready now.
When will it be passed? Do we know?
Oh, Attorney General will bring it to me. Now, we are not even in Parliament.
Parliament is on recess.
But I told you behind the scenes, why are you doing this?
Yeah, but I need the listeners to appreciate what information I have so that they understand.
So when we come back, we'll send it to the committee, then it goes to the plenary.
Okay.
Then we debate on it.
So there are a few questions I want to
but I'm happy, something, I'm happy Ghanaians are really, really on it. So when it gets to Parliament, I believe the Parliament will have to have no choice than to listen and to what the majority, because that is what we need. And on that day, I think we'll all come to Parliament to support, to do the year for us to make sure that it is passed.
Okay, so this one says in the last sixth Parliament, 16 women MPs were NDC and 14 MPP, reflecting the party's respective strengths in Parliament. It means your party is not doing so well for women participation in politics.
Who said that?
This is a question from a random listener.
That's not true.
It's not true? That's just the answer you think. Is the MPP committed to pushing women?
We are majority. We are committed. Now we even have, we lost 2 women. We have like 3 women coming on board. So it means we are good.
Okay.
But we are not getting the numbers.
Okay.
It's not the affirmative that will bring the women home.
Okay.
Unless we make a strategic effort to both parties to say that we are saving this seat for, and that is where the big problem is. The men are like, who is vacating his position for who to come in? That is the strategy. So if that one goes beyond me. Now it gets to the executive of the parties to say that, hey, we are saving this seat for the women, or we are fielding men here, and this seat will be for the that has nothing to do with their.
Yeah, but let me just push you a bit. I remember in the just ended primaries, the NPP had a policy where certain seats were protected.
We never had a policy. I went for primary. Even me, the gender.
Certain seats were certain seats where women contested. Some of them were protected, like Eslo Wusu's constituency, for instance. Nobody contested that seat, but women like
doesn't
you
mean she was
were
protected.
given the opportunity.
It doesn't mean she was protected.
It doesn't mean that.
There are places
where
where
on radio?
There are places where the male went unopposed. It doesn't mean they were protected. So I don't want you to do.
No, but I mean there was a policy that certain seats must not be contested in the interest of the party. It was
not a policy of the party, that I can tell.
But it did work. It did work. Did it work?
I said it is not a policy. How something that is not a policy work?
Okay, so there's let me ask another question before we go to the Agona constituency and what you're doing for your people. Recently, some people were arrested in your constituency. You felt you were the target. Are you safe now?
Yes, I must say I'm safe. God is protecting me, and the police. I have a strong police protection also, and so for now I must say that
you're safe. Yeah. You're safe. You have to keep safe. Okay,
I have to.
For your constituents, your children, in particular, your family,
and my dear husband,
and your dear husband,
my dearest husband,
your dearest husband. Let's talk about the Agona West constituency. What's I know you have a school in that you spoke about over 20 years. The school has been there for how long?
No, straight through has been we're getting to 20
years. Tell us about the plans you have for your constituents.
In Agona West, I'm their darling mother, I'm their darling sister, and their friend, their in-law, because I come from Elmina originally. My father comes from Ningo, but my husband comes from Nyakro, and I'm representing him so well because of the love he has for me and I have for him. In Agona West, I must say that by God's grace, I'm getting to 2 years in Parliament, but I have done extensively so well. I can say that what I have done, no MP. No matter how, of course, I am, I have it documented,
right.
Not a green book, properly documented with names to show you exactly what we have done. If you come to education, almost every community have their school. You go to my, I have it here. When I'm done, I'll leave it with you.
Yes, please.
And you can see. We've done construction of my hospital, Swedu General Hospital. I bought them their ambulance even before the president gave out the ambulance for per constituency. So Agona West, we have 2 ambulances now. All my roads have been asphalted by God's grace.
Okay.
The Swedu Town Road, everywhere has been asphalted.
Really? I should visit your constituency.
Pardon, you should visit my constituency. And then when it gets to bitumen, it's been done in certain part. In Kum is now under construction. Since creation of this world, no bitumen has been in Inkum. But now I'm doing it by God's grace. I'm doing Upper and Lower Bobikuma. They've never had bitumen in their constituency. And it's a big place. By God's grace, I'm doing. When they are done, they are doing Abodom also for me. And so for road construction, I must say that I have been blessed. I've been blessed.
But how do you fund this? MPs don't build roads, don't construct roads.
Hey, we lobby, and some if you can have they have to do the pre-financing.
Okay.
If there's a way that you can support your contractor to do it, you do it. It's not everything that we see on air, but everything is being done. We lobby for it to be done. That's why I say I thank the president and the road minister.
Right.
And then when it comes to We have a river, Accra River. That is a major challenge. And as I speak to you, my contractor is on it. We got, we lobbied for 3 bridges.
Okay.
We have 2. The third one, I want it to be, how do you call it? A bigger stretch where cars can drive on. And so we left it. Now we are doing 2 footbridges on the Accra River where the contractor is now. We have 4 secondary schools. Swedu Business School, Swesbu. Every infrastructure that needs to be done. You have to visit Aguna West. I don't need to say. Come and see. The furniture in the classrooms, their beds and everything is, on point. Nyakrom Secondary has their infrastructure, everything. Their road is being bitumen everywhere in the school, is paved nicely. Their dormitories, their furniture. You go to Siddiq, the road. For the first time, Zongo has a bitumen on their road.
Which of the Zongos?
Nyakrom Zongo.
Okay.
And in Sredru Zongo, we have asphalt in the Sredru Zongo.
But we have, what's the roads, the road deficit has with me? Do we know?
No, I can't say per percentage.
Okay.
But Jinhu has asphalt. Zongo has asphalt. It's closer to Jinhu.
So your constituency is sorted when it comes to roads?
Oh, when it comes to road. If we have 2 Cocoa Road under construction also.
Okay.
One at Ahamadonko in Swansa and one at Otinkrine. Okay. So Ahamadonko in Swansa all the way through Busumpa to Otinkrine have been given up for contracts and the contractors are on the road. The only road problem I have is the interior how do you call it? Interior roads,
okay.
Where the areas, and now even as I speak to you, we have the
roads that link each other. That's what
in
the
communities, not
community.
The main road.
Okay.
As for the main roads, it's been sorted out. We have one from Otebukrom to we have one from Osama Station through Otebukrom. We have contractors on it. They are working. The gutters are done. Now they are working on all the way to Urban B School to Ejebusia. There's a community there. And then from Otebukrom to Aboduse also, the contractors are on
Are
the
there
road.
jobs for people in your constituency? I mean, the unemployment rate, I think, is around
I know.
7.3 now percent nationwide. And there are concerns that people come back from school and there's no job. Your constituents.
How
are you empowering them?
But I can tell you, you're talking about loans. I have given loans not
from your own pocket.
Not by Maslock has given 100 from not my own pocket.
Okay.
If you say my own pocket, it's like I'm a rich woman.
Okay.
I am not that rich.
Okay.
Help, solicit for. We have 500 women that I have given, apart from what the president is doing. 500 women that we have given roles to. And then
okay. You have supported quite a number of people.
And then 500 young ladies also who are not...
what are they into? I mean, these loans, what are they into?
Dressmaking, those who are selling. Shodu is a commercial town.
Okay.
We do a lot of selling.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And everything is recorded here. And we have YEA, we have 418... people that we have employed. NAPCO, we have 397. Forestry.
So, I mean, on the whole, you've done a lot for your constituency, so you deserve 4 more, right?
Oh, I deserve 4 more.
Right. We are wrapping.
Not only me, my president who Ketsi to gave me all the good things to do deserves 4 more.
Yeah. We are wrapping up because, we have to make way for the news at 7 with some money. But I've been speaking with the Minister for Children, Gender, Children and Social Protection. She's also the MP for Aguna West constituency, Cynthia Mamle Morrison. Thank you so much. Your last words as we wrap up.
Election is not war. Election is about ideas. If you love me, you vote for me. Not only love me, if you love my policies, you love what I'm doing, you love what the president is doing, his free SHS, all the policies that he's brought on board, you want to vote for him. But we don't need to fight. We have only one country. We have nowhere else to go. It's not because we are not strong, but because we love our country, So let's stay together as one people. The last time I got, votes from both sides.
Right.
So is everybody. So if you are an NDC, you are MPP, we are not rivals. We are here to build a nation. I know MPP is winning, both parliamentary and presidential, but we don't need to fight to win. We need to stay together and win. Thank you.
We need to stay together to win. Thank you, Cynthia Mamle Morrison, MP for Aguna West constituency and Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. And she was our guest on Women's Take here on 3FM 92.7. The show is supported by Star Ghana Foundation with funding from the UK's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office and the European Union. Thank you so much. My name is Eton Amsey. I sat in for your regular host, Natalie Ford. Let's make way for the news at 11 a.m. with Emmanuel Samani. Many thanks for your time.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the news update at 11. 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 News update at 11.